Just when it comes to decision making, it's usually kind of off, I feel like.
Yeah, that's the other big thing for ranking, but I do feel they've been getting better as the tournament has gone on in that department. Now, a big discussion over what maps we're going to get. It was Blackwidow, Ankara, and then Compound as the three in the BO3. And I almost don't mind actually seeing those maps come out again, almost even in that order, right? If it's going to be Blackwidow here from ranking and then Ankara from XROCK, I think both teams are going to be sort of happy enough to get those first couple of maps and sort of run it back because, well, XROCK won 2-0 in that series. Ranking felt like they got pretty close, and unless their mental is kind of shaken on Ankara from that game yesterday, I still think that, yeah, they can have a good argument to be made that they should sort of allow that through in the pool. So Eagle Eye and Compound being taken away. Compound may be a bit of a surprise, Eagle Eye definitely not. We do get Blackwidow again. I like that from ranking, right? Show the confidence that you at least feel like you can still win on this map.
That's what I meant yesterday already. Like, there's a difference between Chinese teams and also the other regions here. The Chinese team just bans the best map from ranking, and ranking has the main ban of Eagle Eye, and they really have to ban it once again, even though maybe a sub-base ban would have made more sense, but they just can't play Eagle Eye, so that's why they have to ban it once again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a unique change up in the map pool now between these two teams, Blackwidow and Subbase kicking off our series. It is going to be ranking on the GR side of Blackwidow and then the BL first for Subbase. So not a bad position necessarily to be in here, but the BL side on Blackwidow a little bit more favorable. But the question is now, what are they going to ban? Ankara is going to be banned, actually, or sorry, not banned, picked by ranking next in this one. So they've got the confidence to maybe not start there, but it's still going to be a bold pick from them to bring it out, and hopefully they still look equally good, maybe a little bit better here on this map than what they were able to bring to the table last time they faced off against XROCK.
Port or Mexico, basically the choice here for XROCK.
Feels like probably Port's the better of the two for XROCK, I would say, in this one. I feel like ranking has showed us they can be competitive pretty consistently on Mexico. Maybe not their best map, but for XROCK, they are going to pick Mexico. So they're going for the close quarters maps in their picks here, both Subbase and Mexico, which will leave Port as our fifth map in this series. So it is interesting to see the Vietnamese team picking the long-range maps and the Chinese team picking the close quarters maps, since I feel like usually it's kind of the other way around.
Like I said, mate, I think Ice Cube, he's up to the challenge today. I hope that he's up to the challenge. Gonna have some egg on my face if this ends up being a 0-3 favoring XROCK. I do hope at the very least we just get a competitive series, right? I think if we were to have a competitive 3 maps, and even if it goes 3-0 to XROCK, but ranking, you know, maybe took 1 or 2 of them to overtime, you could sort of say, well, they had a good crack at it. Credit where it's due. But if ranking just gets completely wiped out here, that would be a little bit sad. Second Vietnamese team out of the competition after Baisha dismantled Karahouse yesterday, but even Karahouse did a reasonable job actually in that series. So faith there for ranking from me at least, and hopefully from the Vietnamese fans and obviously from ranking themselves. Can't be affording any level of nerves or inhibitions coming into this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure XROCK watched the match actually Kungana against ranking, and then they should realize that usually a fast-paced executes always work against ranking esports, ranking gaming on Blackwidow. It's also what I did against them at CFS Vietnam. Also worked out perfectly against them. The only issue is if you face Ice Cube or Blackwidow, usually it's his best map. He even dropped like 25 against my team on Blackwidow. So you should definitely avoid maybe A side, unless you have good utility usage.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one where we really need everybody on ranking to bring their A game. It can't be just Humio, it can't be just Ice Cube. We need that core 3 firing at their best, and even someone like Fotcons, who has that potential, I think could even step up in this one as well and provide some extra value. And maybe you've got some birthday luck from KT15 as well.
Yep.
Maybe that's the key element, but to be fair for Famous, the birthday luck wasn't great against all gamers. But
yeah, I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to say, you know, KT15, maybe a birthday surprise, a big dub over XROCK, but I wanted to hold my tongue just because it, yeah, it did blow up in Famous's face, unfortunately. Let's see, though. I mean, how's ranking looking on the stage? They don't seem to be too antsy necessarily. Same obviously for XROCK. Everyone's pretty comfortable with the stage at this point. Everyone's played a lot of games. It'll be a different story when we come back on Friday. Obviously tomorrow we have off. There's a break day for everyone involved. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday we are into the arena stadium. And that's a big difference from playing on the stage in the studio. Now granted it's a big stage here, but it will certainly be a bigger stage when we get into the stadium.
And here you can see the final map pool. We're going to kick it off on Blackwidow, which surprised me in this tournament just not being picked as frequently as it used to be. A lot more Mexico and Eagle Eye than I was expecting, especially after last year. I think Eagle Eye was only seen maybe 1 or 2 times in the group stage, but not this time around. We are going to be hopping in map number 1 to see who's going to start off this series with a nice 1-0 for themselves and maybe get that momentum on their side to move forward with, but very much so a huge first map for both of these teams.
Love to see Ranking get off to the races early in this map here and also start to make a bit of noise. I think that is potentially a big difference maker for them sometimes when they're feeling that momentum. So let's see how these first couple of rounds go, and then we can draw some conclusions from those. Jia is going to push his way into long solo and just sit behind the box to ensure there's no aggression coming through from Ranking.
I think Ice Cube is not actually aware of his position. It's an interesting play from GA. This is really rare to see someone hiding here behind this position.
Big test actually for both these two. We highlighted both of them going into the game, and drawing first blood in that sniper duel would be a very positive sign. Get in your opponent's head a little bit.
It's a very risky position, though. I'm not a huge fan of it, actually, from the XROCK side of things. Putting him alone, kind of isolated on long. There's no trade potential if he goes down. And if Ice Cube wins this fight, holding on to the A-bomb site becomes so much easier. But if he does wait for this push, maybe Ice Cube moves out of position. Maybe that's their play here, trying to kind of force the rotation early for Ice Cube and then have that quick flank set up for GA, which could be pretty impactful, but it puts a lot of pressure onto Humio in this round once this push comes to life. But Chow on the lurk. Good for one. Humio can't find anything, and GA gets the timing perfect on Ice Cube trying to get out of there. Already a 4-on-2 for XROCK as the bomb goes down.
Really was the perfect setup actually for XROCK. I mean, they chose the weaker side of the map. They had strong positioning as well, and the timing favored them too. So on to KT15. Talk about birthday luck. A birthday 1v4 is not going to happen. And XROCK with a very solid first round. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot in that one, unfortunately, for Ranking. I felt like they were just completely out-positioned, right? It was a case of scissors, paper, rock, and well, XROCK came up with rock, and Ranking came up with scissors.
Right, yeah, it was really perfect counter strat here. But also G was kind of lucky that no one was actually using an M4 from Ranking, because if someone would go for the wall bang, it would be a free frag for him.
Yeah, a bit of a risk, but it pays off. Now they've got the 1-0 lead. Ice Cube pushed up in the catwalk here, looking for that entry towards the B-bomb site. Humio as well, right there alongside him, but XROCK starting to rotate back towards B. Again, only leaving GA here alone in the middle of the map. The rest of this team is going to put that pressure on to B. I like this call, though, because Chow alone in the previous round was able to disrupt this side. If he had one more player with him, they could have just gone right into the B-bomb side. So that's exactly what they're going to do here. And look at the setup from Ranking. There's only one player holding this off. It's KT15 getting completely blinded. Fotcon tries to get in position to help him out, but XROCK, their whole team is here. May not matter, though, because KT15 finds the double kill before going down. Fotcon good for a third, and these last two players are just flashed into a corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, if KT15 can step up like that, then Ranking is really going to be benefited, because he's not even someone that you're expecting many frags from. Now Hugh on the swing, also clean for the double, and Ranking look like they're right back into the swing of things. Would have been a little bit worried if they would have gone down 0-2 and in decisive fashion as well, but I think for Ranking in particular, it's important to get on the board early, get that aim warmed up, and that was a good round. So Ranking are definitely in this discussion at the moment.
A lot of it's going to come down to this third round here. Yang from the connector, tap after tap. The top 2 fraggers for the team down and out. Humio and Ice Cube are no longer in the round. And now Ranking have to find a way back into it. That's a good start, though. Nevis takes down Sunny. At least gets that exchange to go their way. Still a man down. The C4 leaning towards this mid position, but Nevis knows he needs to find an opening to get another entry. Almost has that timing onto Yang, but to be fair, I feel like Nevis is going to be pretty key in this matchup. He got a lot of kills against Kara House in their previous match, and I feel like he's really stepped up his game so far, but Fotcon is not ready for that one from Yang and Chow, who just take full control of the bomb site. Lee on the lurk, gets it done, and that is a much more decisive round for XROCK.
It's pretty funny how these rounds are playing out so far. Like, every single one has been an easy, decisive victory for the team that wins it. I haven't really seen a particularly close battle so far, if it has at least been back and forth.
Bit of a default here at the start from XROCK. Ranking, going for the 3 players, control onto long A. They're going to leave 2 and maybe send Fotcon to push through for info. Not a huge fan of going any further than this, though. You start to peek onto that BL spawn, things can definitely go south quickly if you're not prepared for them to be there. You can see XROCK kind of prepared for it as well. They've got GA just posted up, hoping someone pushes through here, and you can tell Fotcon and Humio, they thought about it for a moment and then think better of it and back off. Very slow as well here. I feel like XROCK are doing a good job of trying to bait out the aggressive plays, but over the course of this tournament, Ranking getting a little bit safer on their GR side, not just swinging out like they used to, which does make it harder to execute against this team, but the utility going to be thrown. Fotcon goes down in mid. Humio quick on the trade to get it going, but they still have to move. And Humio, good for 2, doesn't expect the 3rd on the double doors from Lee. And we are going to see a pause actually called already, probably from the Ranking side of things here, but it's down to the 2-on-2. KT15 overcommits to the fight, and GA, the follow through to get it done, keeps XROCK out in front.
That's a bit worrisome, definitely, for Ranking, the fact that GA is looking on point, and I have to say, Ice Cube's not really up to much at the moment. Hugh's looking good. Nevis has had a pretty good round, so we're actually going to get a tech pause coming through, which is a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully not a particularly long one, but yeah, the win conditions aren't necessarily online at the moment for Ranking. Some of them are kind of getting there, but definitely the big one, especially on a map like Blackwidow, is going to be whether or not Ice Cube can activate, and so far he's definitely having trouble getting into this game, and he's on the GR side as well. So that's a rough sign.
I mean, although they just lost this round, I feel like Fotcon was doing a good job along A. He was shooting through the wall, through the box, I mean. So XROCK realized, okay, Ranking is definitely in barracks, so like they have this barracks area. So usually it makes sense to push A short then, what they did eventually. And at the same time, Ranking also rotated off back towards A, so that actually 3 or even 4 players towards mid and A. I felt like the perfect setup to defend this bomb site. But yeah, it didn't work. I felt like also Ice Cube, for some reason, he was sniping towards the wrong angle, right? I felt like he could get the refrag when he may have got killed.
That's what I thought.
In mid.
Not sure why that didn't come through.
Should have been a free frag for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some small issues setting up the trades here so far for Ranking. I feel like as well, they're not doing a great job of dealing with the aggression from B Connector that XROCK is kind of throwing their way when they do go for those catwalk pushes. So they've got to have a response there for the mid holds coming in from XROCK. And so far across the board as well, XROCK, you've got to give them credit. Everyone hitting the shots when they need to, getting decent plays across the board. And this is really the difference I saw in this team. A little bit more consistent in the early round picks, a little bit more potential in those late round retake and clutch situations as well. Hopefully, once we get back in here, Ranking can show us a little bit more, but as we've seen, first map pick they can make something of this next round. If not, you're already down 4-1. Even on this side of the map, not a great look to move forward with, but it all comes down to the team play here, Ranking. They've got to get that cohesion working a little bit stronger. Landing those trades needs to be there. So far, hasn't been the case for them. But at the same time, I feel like XROCK, they're not necessarily having to pull out all the stops either. They're playing a little bit individually for these opening picks. They're just hitting the shots they need to find them. And when they do need to be patient, they're showing us what they need to as well. I feel like that first round is a great example. GA sits behind the box, but not once does he peek early. And those are really key moments in winning those rounds.
I think they really analyzed ranking, because going for this play is really risky, especially in the first round. But, like probably they just watched the matches and they realized, okay, actually ranking, they never go for the wall bang towards long A. So maybe just send one player there of the top spawn, he will hide there, and eventually gets the first frag onto Ice Cube.
Yeah, really good stuff on the counter-stratting so far. We'll see if they can continue to read them as we continue forward in this one. And it looks like we are getting back into it. Quick replay, though, from Yang on the B connector, and this is what I'm talking about. They have these rounds where it looks like they should be able to trade, but then XROCK just gets themselves a nice double kill to hold on to. And this is where their setups have to be a little bit more efficient, but you also have to deal with GA hitting shots like that.
Yep. That's the other thing, right? Gia, a little bit up and down in this event so far, but if he comes online, then that's a huge boon, obviously, for XROCK. That ranking now will have to deal with.
Last year there was a big upset in China that eStar reached the final in CFPL, because eStar is more known as an average team in China. And like Jie was doing an insane job for them. He was always like carrying them. And I think he was also the MVP of the tournament. So yeah, but still, like playing at CFS is always different, as you might know. The rules are kind of different here at CFS compared to CFPL. They play kind of different guns, different maps. But yeah, so far he's doing a great job. I still feel like if they face Baisha or AG in a best of 5 on the CFS client, it might be tough, because yeah, they're lacking experience. And also, to be fair, in the group stage, they didn't lose any map, yes, but it didn't also look too strong in my opinion. When I watched their gameplay, it feels more like to watch a strong Brazilian team, not a Chinese team.
Yep.
But no offense, but this is just my impression.
Yeah, I can see it though. I mean, they've looked the most beatable, but I feel like at least Baisha yesterday showed that they could be beat. So I think moving forward, there's a little bit more room for teams to feel like they actually have a chance now going up against them. I think Kara House kind of opened up that potential of what could be done against Baisha, because before that match, I would have said, I think Baisha could win this event without losing a single map. Now that seems a lot less likely, and I feel like someone like an Imperial or a Vincent could do well if they make it into, you know, a later stage. But unfortunately for Vincent, I just feel like even going to that arena stage is going to be all dependent on how they can do in that first game. It's really going to set the pace there, and knowing it could be Vincent versus 3 Chinese teams, it's got to be a tough prospect if you're in their shoes.
Yeah, but in the worst case, like even though you're versing Baisha in that first round, it's still double elim, right? So you do have another crack at it. The issue, by the way, is I believe Gia cannot open the map. I mean, that's what we were told, and it seems like Gia is the one that's having the issue at the moment. So put 2 and 2 together. They're just spamming this one key, trying to open the map, I guess, and it's not happening. Which is a little bit strange, but anyway. I mean, I guess the thing is, like, someone just has to do it once, right? Someone just has to beat Baisha or AG or XROCK here, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually it is doable. Like, they are beatable. Same sort of thing happened when China finally lost to one of the Brazilian teams for the first time. And, you know, obviously we saw a Brazilian grand finalist and winner, and then the next year they did it again. And it was kind of like, all right, well, like, is this now the new normal? You know what I mean? And all it takes is one team to kind of make everyone think that that is possible. I think it was, what's a good analogy for it? Is it the 100-meter sprint? No one thought, people thought you could never run 100 meters under 10 seconds. Like, it was physically, humanly impossible. And then someone did it, and then all of a sudden, like, after hundreds of years of the 100-meter sprint, no one breaking 10 seconds, all of a sudden, like, you know, 20 people did it in, like, the next 2 or 3 years. And it was like, oh. So people, it's like a mentality thing almost, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. At least it's shown to have been done at some point, though. Something I've always thought is interesting that we've never seen a Chinese team make the finals of a CFS event and then lose there. It's always been in the semifinals or sooner, and then they just don't have a Chinese team in the final when they do lose. I would be curious to see what it looks like if we have maybe an Imperial versus Baisha final where then they win in the final. I think would mean even more, because so far that hasn't happened yet. So we are back into it, though. 1-3 the scores. We return. Hugh looking for the double. It's not going to happen, though. Lee good on the trades for 2. And again, ranking. They take the aggressive fight early on. And they're going to be punished. Lee, how does he know Falcon is there, though? Great read from him to find his 3rd kill on the round. Ice Cube, he's 0-3 so far, but he needs something now to redeem himself.
Yeah, it looked like it was a strong start, actually, for ranking Hugh with such a clean shot, but he couldn't manage to find the shots on his 2nd spray, which was obviously the problem. And now Ice Cube, well, he's definitely not messing around, but he's not going to be able to win that one. Need to be at 100% or even 110% here if you're ranking, and Hugh being unable to double down there, unfortunately, is just not enough. If he gets 2, it could be a different story, but spends too long trying to clean up the 2nd player and does get traded himself, and so in the end, XROCK up 4-1. Ranking need to find a way to adapt or die, essentially.
Yeah, ranking, I just feel like it's the shots right now. They've been changing things up, trying to adapt. The setups haven't been too bad on their end. Maybe a little bit too risky at times on this push-up short, but other than that, it just seems shot for shot they're getting outclassed here, especially when you look at Lee, who hasn't been the strongest player for XROCK a lot of the time so far, currently at 7-2 in this matchup, and along with Yang 8-2, it's been so difficult to shut these 2 guys down. You can see ranking trying to find a way to maybe catch them off guard, but it's kind of hard when they don't change too much as well. I feel like 2-cat and then the 3 spread between A, B, and mid has been kind of their standard here, which kind of leaves you exposed if they just go for a direct challenge onto either bomb site.
I feel like they play a little bit too basic ranking. I would love to see some late round aggressions, some info plays maybe.
Yep.
But against Chinese teams, you have to pull something off. Like usually basic setups don't work that well.
Yeah, it feels like ranking are kind of gone into their shells a little bit, right? They're not playing the ranking style, which is sort of something that we were a bit critical of, obviously, at the start of the event. But I think there's a balance. You can't be doing nothing against a team like XROCK. You've got to be doing something at least. And here we go. 1st kill on the board for Ice Cube. See if we can find any more to ensure that the site is not taken. That is much better. Need to see individuals stepping up exactly like that for ranking, and then obviously it makes it much more difficult for XROCK to win these rounds.
Now Sunny left alone, not going to find anything. Ranking wins a round with everybody alive, and that is going to help them a lot here when it comes to their confidence in this matchup, especially with Ice Cube finally hitting his first shots as well. Going into that round, he was 0-4 in the first 5, so hopefully he's got something a little bit more to offer moving forward, because if they are going to win this, they need him playing like he has every other series so far.
No reason to get too excited just yet for ranking, though. Obviously, it's still pretty early days. And that's only 1 good round from them. Need to see a few in a row before we can really give them any accolades.
Can see a bit of a different approach on the GR side. This time, Humio, the player, going into barracks on long instead of Ice Cube. I like this change up. Ice Cube a little bit better if you're able to keep him on that bomb site. I think the cat cross for him is a little bit more success rate, but XROCK not really interested in that one. They're going to be going towards the B bomb site here. The smokes and flashes quickly being thrown. KT-15, can he successfully hold it again? This time, he is flashed out of his position, goes for the repeat. Chow holds the corner, but it's Yang to find one. Yang able to find the 2nd as well. And ranking, they just can't hold on to it. But look at Sunny, just waltzes right into mid, finds himself a kill onto Nevis. At least Ice Cube trades it, but it's still a 3-on-2.
Yeah, it is. Fast flank, though, coming through from Humio. If he can maybe find himself one here, then that could be big. Smoke's going to bloom in his face, but he gets past it. Still loses the duel against Jia, and you'd have to say that's probably it done and dusted. Ice Cube looking for the frag onto Lee. Won't even be able to land it. And again, it really does come down to that aim, doesn't it? Like, it's not as if XROCK was super clean into that site. You've got to be doing better than this if you're the two-site defenders as ranking. Like, how long they were able to survive for, but only ended up going 1 for 2. Didn't delay enough to allow the ranking rotation to come in either, and ultimately, in the end, scoreline 5-2, reading pretty favorably here for XROCK, but change up from ranking. We are starting to get a little bit more from them.
Yeah, it's smart to send Ice Cube now towards B-side, because B-side was so far the weak point for ranking, but unfortunately it seems like XROCK will push. No, they just backing off towards their base. But yeah, it's smart to send Ice Cube towards B side, like I already said, because I mean he got an insane 3k right on A side when they tried to push it, and especially Fatcon having a hard time on B looked kind of shaky the last round. And usually Chinese teams, if they realize there's one player who's having a hard time on a certain bomb site, they just keep pushing the same bomb site.
Again, like Hugh hits that most days of the week, but here just completely misses it, and that's the undoing of the entire setup. KT15 has to try to salvage. You're not going to get much done pushing their solo, and now it's on to Ice Cube, who again is stuck in a 1v3.
Yeah, just no way out of this one. Ice Cube has to get over quickly to try and isolate these players one at a time. The bomb, though, still is
Yang
stuck. We can take down Yang. It doesn't matter. The flank is already there from Lee. The timing to secure these trades, just perfect for XROCK in this one. And on top of that, the shots looking superior. And this play really shows it. I mean, they had the right idea. They wanted to contest. It didn't matter. Perfect trades across the board, but Yang 12-3 so far in this matchup, really stepping it up in his last two series, and in my mind, becoming one of the strongest players that we've seen from this team so far. But GA through the smoke, able to find one. Humio thankfully trades it out, but still, what a good first shot.
How many times have ranking actually had the opening pick in this map so far? I don't think they've had it.
Maybe one?
Yeah, like ever, maybe once? Been down 4-on-5 in almost every single round. This is, I don't mind this push. You know, you got to change something up, but Yang's waiting for it. So, seems like he's just not going to miss a beat at this point. It seemed like a really well-timed push from ranking. But in the end, XROCK are proving to be far too good here on Blackwidow.
Yeah, it's already another 1-on-3 situation for ranking. KT15 looking for anything he can find out of this round. Otherwise, it's going to be a 7-2 half for XROCK. If they can finalize it, and Chow will. 7-2 on the BL side. And it's already not looking like a good pathway ahead for ranking. I don't know, Hellfish Guy, are you still a believer after that half?
Not really, no. I mean, yeah, why would you be? I guess the thing is, like, I just don't think we're seeing the best of ranking at this point in time. I'm not really getting the vibe from Hugh or Ice Cube or Nevis that we really want to, and like we said in the pre-show, if ranking wants to compete in this matchup, they will have to be at 100% and maybe even better than 100%, and doesn't really feel like ranking even close to that at the moment. Like, they're just not hitting the shots that they normally would, which is problem number one, and everything else is kind of irrelevant at that point, right? You could go probably deeper into the discussion, but if they can't win their duels, they're not going to win the game.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Was hoping at the very least it would be a little bit closer than what we're seeing. Yang runs into trouble, but Lee, he's only going to be good for one. I thought he was going to grab Nevis as well, but Chow still alive on this cat window position. Grenade, though, not sure if that was the intended land for that, but still a 3-on-3 situation. Ranking a slight HP advantage, but they've got to check their corners if they go into this B bomb site. GA so patient on these off angles that he might even go unchecked here. Humio, he's got to be the one to do it, but Chow, this is the perfect bait for GA's position. Now They are going to know he's there, but Humio goes down for the fight. Ice Cube can't reconnect either, and now it's all on to Nevis, 1 versus 2.
Just don't understand why there's nobody else in the site there with him. Like, you're going to be committing to that site. There's no doubt about it, right? Hugh's already pretty much all the way across. Have you not got another player out to help, at least to trade? Ice Cube comes way too late, obviously, out the window. It probably needed to be Nevis with the C4. So, in the end, Nevis is going to be stuck in the 1-on-2. See if he can step up here for ranking. Timing not looking too ideal for him. Was spotted out there by Sunny. But he should be allowed a bomb plant here on A at the very worst case. So maybe a chance with that, though his HP is quite low.
Yeah, this is the downside here. Not a lot of HP to work with, but to be fair, Sunny, equally low. GA, under half. And he's got the angle to maybe challenge quickly on this peak, but Nevis, he's got to hit this shot. Able to find one, doesn't matter. The trade's always there for XROCK, and they'll take this one to an 8-2 scoreline, and already it could be a quick first map down.
Yeah, the executor was played way too slow. For some reason, Humio didn't get any support from his teammates, but also it didn't get what Fotcon was doing at the beginning of the round. His teammates are waiting in blacklist space, and he's just rushing towards mid, solo, and hoping to get entries. I mean, to be fair, if you're 9, you can do that, but against the Chinese team, obviously, okay, they're down 2-7. Maybe it's just surprise with a play, but still, I think it makes more sense to group as a unit than push together. This play was unnecessary.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too many full executions out of ranking. It almost seems like 1 or 2 try and peek alone, get taken down, and then the rest of the team's just like, let's try and go to the other side instead. And then that doesn't work as well. So I feel like ranking could show us a good 5 stack towards the A-bomb site here. Maybe sending a lot up the catwalk. You can see 3 working their way towards it, actually 4 now. So we are going to see a full commit here towards this A-bomb site. But Chow, he's on the other side. He's ready to go, hits the first shot, but the quick trade comes through. Nevis secures it, but they still have to deal with GA in this position. He's good for 1, knows Ice Cube's on long, but Lee's rotated in as well. GA really struggles with that shot onto Fotcon, but it doesn't matter if Lee and Yang can get it done that quickly. They're already on to map point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to win that round, I think it's pretty much over. Ranking, it felt like they had a pretty good timing to get in there, and they certainly had the numbers at one point, but were not able to trade down effectively, and so 2 rounds only from ranking. Huge disappointment in comparison to the last time they met. On this map, it was 10-7, though you remember it actually was XROCK that were leading quite hard, and they sort of let slip a bunch of rounds at the back end. So maybe this is even a bit more representative of how that game should have finished off. Could well end up being a 10-2.
Seems we might see it. KT-15, though, swings out the mid double doors to find an early pick. He goes back for more, though. Runs into trouble. Chow takes him down. Still, it is a 3-on-4 situation. Make it a 2-on-4. Actually, Humio able to find 2 more. And now, Chow is left alone on the catwalk. 1 versus 4, but they've got to be careful not to peek him alone. Ice Cube and Fotcon both going for this fight. It's Chow who goes down, though, and finally, ranking get themselves another round, but it's still 6 in a row needed to take this into overtime.
Feels pretty impossible at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be a real grind for ranking, and I think you'd almost rather just get this one over and done with and run it back on sub base, see if you can do anything there. Let's have a look though. Hugh, I mean, he's playing pretty fearlessly. He's doing this alone, by the way. There's no chance of a trade. If he dies, it's round over, but all of a sudden, ranking is kind of looking like a completely different team. They allow XROCK to 9, and now we're starting to see them hit their shots. Now we're starting to see them play decisively. I mean, where was this? The pressure's off. They feel like they've lost the map already, so they're like, whatever, we'll just YOLO it. And it's starting to work out, although, have I spoken too soon? Still, good trades from Fotcon. Multi-frags now as well. Where has all this been for the entirety of Blackwidow?
Yeah, I feel like this random place like can get you some rounds maybe at the end, but you can't win like that a whole map against a Chinese team. So, but yeah, great play from Mameo here, pushing up towards A short and catching XROCK off guard. That's all on G in a 1-on-3 clutch situation. That's tough. Retaking B side is always very difficult. They can just play the time.
Yeah, should be a free round here for ranking to close out. FotCon good for 3 on this one, but it still only seems like a matter of time before XROCK can get that last round on the board for themselves. But at least looking at the entries this time around, a lot smoother. FotCon and KT15 really stepping up to get that round to go their way. 5 in a row needed for overtime. XROCK again, a similar position for themselves though, struggling a little bit to get that final round and allowing more rounds than maybe they should against themselves, which could come back to bite them later on in this tournament, but ranking still in the position they're in, it just doesn't seem like they're going to find anything out of this one.
A good map control initially for XROCK. Chow's been able to work his way all the way to the bottom along, and you've almost got the 3-1-1 for XROCK here. They're not feeling the pressure at all. And even if Chow does go down here, you'd be backing him to get at least one. And that'll be early info as well. Good one tap straight to the head of Hugh Mio. It's an important kill as well, considering Hugh's really felt like he's been the difference maker for ranking on this blacklist side. But like I said, early information for XROCK, and immediately they're going to do something with that information. They're going to push out a B, recognize there's not a whole lot going on there, rotate a couple of extra players back over to A. Obviously, Lee now has to be a little bit careful because timing starting to become a factor that ranking might have rotated back off of long. So he's kind of just got to watch both angles, but getting some assistance as well from Sunny in mid to ensure that he doesn't have to be too concerned about that side at the moment.
Ranking though, starting to run down the clock a little bit. 50 seconds to make their move. Putting their attention towards A long with 3. FotCon on the lurk towards B, but Lee should get the spot onto him. He's been going for it pretty frequently. He gets the info, falls underneath the bridge, and FotCon not going to have any clue what he's up to. Decides to back off and group up for this A hit. Yang and GA, these are the keys to holding on to this one for XROCK. They've got the angles. Yang, though, struggling on the first. Only able to find one, but Sunny and GA are right here to try and answer. Lee gets one from underneath as well. Ice Cube left alone, 2 versus 1. The map on the line, and GA just gets it done with the backstab. 10-4 XROCK will take the first map.